Venom is not a part of the MCU. What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to the channel. So, Venom being in the MCU. I fucking hate the idea. Well, actually, no. Let me rephrase that. I hate the idea of Venom 1 and probably Venom 2. I don't know. I have to see the movie. Just that franchise being a part of MCU canon because of many different reasons. It's long story short, I just don't like it and it's garbage, but I'll go over actual reasons from people who work on the MCU and those Sony movies as to why they shouldn't be considered canon. Some leaks that came out recently and the debate they're starting to rehash. I'm not gonna talk about what the leak is, but the leak is starting to reinvigorate the debate of the Venom movies are canon to the MCU. And I don't think that's the case. Morbius, maybe. Venom, no. Here is how I'm understanding all of this. So, starting off, I love the MCU. It's been mostly consistent. There's been a couple of things that have been not so great within it. But I just don't think they're going to allow such mediocre stuff to be put into the MCU that they have absolutely no control over. But this isn't a rant. Okay, I got to calm myself down, all right? So, why isn't Venom an MCU native character, and why aren't those two, Venom 1 and Venom 2, a part of the MCU? Well, one, Andy Serkis, the director of Venom 2, straight up said in his own breakdown of the Venom 2 trailer, it is not.
Obviously, there are links between Venom and Spider-Man in the Marvel universe and the Spider-Man story, but in this, we're treating this very much as it's his own world. The Venom story is his own world.
That should be all the evidence right there, but I have more than just that. So another piece of evidence is that when Sony and Marvel got back together in the fall of 2019, I believe it was, Kevin Feige said something to the effect of Spider-Man is a superhero who has the ability to cross cinematic universes. That was him trying to set up, obviously, what him and Sony came to an agreement on, which is Spider-Man is going to be coming across Venom, and Sony has not been shy on hiding that. I mean, there's that infamous interview with Kevin Feige and Amy Pascal that they were doing for Spider-Man Homecoming, where she just straight up spoils Sony's plan. And essentially what it is that Sony's been upfront about this, and Feige was trying to prepare everyone when he said that quote about, hey, Spider-Man is, can travel to different universes as well. Also, another piece of evidence is that in Venom 1, Venom is surprised aliens exist. I'm pretty sure if you live in the MCU, especially around that time that Venom 1 takes place, I think you'd remember about the fucking Chitauri invading your planet. Hey, I don't know, man. Maybe it's just me. But I think you'd remember that and wouldn't be surprised that aliens exist. And depending on what time of the year that takes place too, I'm pretty sure there would be some sort of mention of, oh wow, half of the world got fucking wiped from existence. I'm just saying, man, there's definitely some things that they would acknowledge if it was a part of the MCU, those movies at least. So something within these leaks is reinvigorating this debate about Venom is a part of the MCU officially, and he's not. It's that those movies are part of the MCU. They are not, but I think he will jump over to it and then jump back out. So let me lay out what my understanding of how this is going on is. So let me lay out what my understanding of things is and what's going to be going on with the future of Spider-Man and Venom. So my understanding of things and what I'm pretty sure is going to happen is that Venom is going to get taken from his own native universe to the MCU, a totally different universe, the same way that the villains of Spider-Man No Way Home will be taken from their home worlds into the MCU and whatnot. So the exact same means and the exact same event are going to be responsible for Venom being taken from him. They're going to be responsible for Venom being pushed into the MCU. And does that mean he's in Spider-Man No Way Home? I'm pretty sure he's not the sixth member of the Sinister Six. I'm pretty sure the Sinister Six lineup for Spider-Man No Way Home is Green Goblin, Doc Ock, Sandman, Electro, Lizard, and Rhino. I already know people are going to comment down, oh, but did you see that hat that he had for the Spider-Man No Way Home production? Yes, I think if he is in Spider-Man No Way Home, it is only and only as a post-credit scene, and that's it. And that's probably why he has that hat. And given Tom Hardy's comments about Venom 3 and how that is supposed to explore the multiverse, specifically the Spider-Verse storyline stuff, I think that's what's going to be going on in Venom 3, which will probably be Venom v Spider-Man. And whether or not that takes place in the MCU is a different question. So to recap in a very clear and concise way, so there are no mishaps. Venom is not a part of the MCU. The Venom movies, this one, Venom 1 and Venom 2, seem like, I'm pretty sure, are not a part of the MCU. Venom himself will be coming over from his own universe to the MCU, and Venom 3 is, I'm more than certain, going to be Venom versus Tom Holland Spider-Man. That's it. Or shoot, maybe Sony decides to go all out and has Venom fight the other Spider-Man as well. That'd be pretty cool. I mean, it'd be pretty cool for them to revive Andrew Garfield Spider-Man some way, somehow, because he got done dirty. If you don't know what I'm talking about, Andrew Garfield was very much a fan of Spider-Man, and the Mark Webb films just got messed with and so much. So if he got a revival with some actual writers and, you know, they had creative freedom and they actually did research, I would be down for it, you know. And maybe that's a revival through Venom. Long story short, Venom himself is not a part of the MCU. He will be in it, and then he will probably leave after Venom 3. Now, how does this translate for the character Morbius? Now, there was that internet smashing trailer teaser that they had in the first Morbius trailer, of him coming across Michael Keaton's version of Vulture. And people are wondering, oh, is Morbius a part of the MCU? I suspect he is going to have a very similar treatment as Venom is, or all those old villains, all those non-MCU villains, which is they're going to be coming to the MCU through the same event, which I'm pretty sure is that spell that we saw in Spider-Man No Way Home. And he'll be there, and I'm pretty sure most, if not all, of his movie is taking place outside, not a part of the MCU. Then, you know, at the very end or post-credits thing, he gets thrown into the MCU, and he's like, oh my god, what's happening? And then he comes across Morbius. Or maybe that whole thing is a part of the MCU, and Kevin Feige was actually able to give some input, and it's not as bad as Venom. Because I don't see the way he operates Marvel Studios, I don't think he would let anything like that be a part of any of these Sony movies, be part of the MCU, if he didn't have some sort of input or control over it. Let's go on into our nerd theory here. A couple things I wanted to mention that I don't think I got clear enough when I was recording this video. Venom 3. Pretty sure that's just Spider-Man v Venom, and I don't see Kevin Feige allowing them to do this without him having some sort of input, because that, if he doesn't, that's wild, and Sony really won, and they really just back-ended themselves into the MCU and just forced their way in, which that seems a little shady to me as well, but I'm not in control of these things, so it is what it is. I know I'm talking a lot. I know this video talked a lot of shit about Venom, It's just because it feels very, like, he looks great. So same with Carnage, same with Morbius. They physically look great, but like those Venom 1 was very sloppily put together, and it feels like it's going to be the same way for Venom 2, and Morbius is probably going to have a little less of that problem from the trailers. But also, Sony doesn't have a great track record with Spider-Man. If you don't know, they kind of screwed over Andrew Garfield and Tobey Maguire. The day before Into the Spider-Verse came out, they released that final monologue of him saying, of Miles saying, "I am Spider-Man," which is just bad marketing, and they didn't really market that movie either. So every time, like, any Sony project that, you know, starts to come out that's not involved with Marvel Studios, I'm just instantly like, man, I really am super cautious of them fucking it up. Specifically their film division. Their gaming division is fine. Now let me talk about their gaming division for a minute, because I totally missed this when I originally started recording this video. And that is that someone made the decision to use a lot of synergy within the company. So the way it's working out is I'm pretty sure around the same time Venom 3 comes out, which is Venom versus Spider-Man, Kraven the movie will also be coming out around that time, and the new the Marvel Spider-Man 2 game, which is featuring Venom and Kraven as the villains. So naturally what's going to happen is people are going to love that super stellar game and then be drawn to the movies afterwards, and then on top of them potentially being connected to the MCU either through multiverse or it being actually set within it, it's going to boost the value of that movie, and people are going to want to go see it, especially MCU nerds like me, even though I hate it. And also there was another thing that I can't remember, and Sony and Venom and Spider-Man are also going to be running on like 2 to 3 year intervals, so it's almost like 1 year you'll get Spider-Man, 1 year you'll get Venom, or maybe even the same year like we're getting this year, which wasn't supposed to happen, but you know, the Rona really put everything into flux, so that's a totally different thing. But that scheduling would also have would be perfect, especially if you're gonna see these characters again and again, either in like the gaming, which through the PS4 or PS5 games, which are fantastic, like, or through oh yeah, and also the Kraven game, the Spider-Man 2 game is going to prominently feature Venom and Kraven as the villains, and just so happens at that time that those two are going to be the movies coming out. So you see what I'm saying? So I wouldn't be surprised if I wouldn't be surprised if moving forward, whatever Spider-Man and Venom movies are going to be coming out around that time are also going to be featured within the game. So it's actually really, really smart. Whoever made that decision is, I would prefer for them to be in charge of the film division. I'm gonna go out on a limb and say that's probably Sony Japan that made that decision, because they were also the ones that really pushed for Sony to even agree to, or even hear Marvel's deal for putting Spider-Man in the MCU. So that was it. That's all I wanted to add. It just wanted to, you know, clear things a little bit up and add that important piece of evidence back to the video. Comment down below if you saw the leaks. I would say stay away from describing them out of respect for Tom Hardy. I was gonna make a video like this anyways, because the closer we get to No Way Home coming out, people keep throwing this idea out there, and then the leaks came out and just pushed this idea to the forefront. So I thought I should probably talk about it anyways. So this just made me talk about it sooner than expected. If you have seen the leaks, comment down below what you think about this explanation of how Venom could be in the MCU, but he's not a part of the MCU. And yeah, that's really it for this one. If you like the super nerdy content, Marvel, DC, Star Wars, and anime news, theory, and reaction videos, then this is the spot for you. So go ahead and like and subscribe, and don't forget to hit that bell notification and become a part of the community so we can grow here. And please don't forget to share in your favorite subreddit, Instagram group chat, Twitter group chat, and Facebook group. And I will see you guys next time. Peace.